couple of days ago I posted the video problems with the Shopsmith Power Pro Part 2. It was kind of unfair to blame the Power Pro because it's actually the problem I was having is relative to the idler shaft assembly and the eccentric bushing. And by bringing this up, I've had responses from Jacob Anderson, Michael Young, Doug Reed, Scott with my growth rings, and Bookshop Nerdery, John Rice, and come to find out it's basically a common issue with the Shopsmith, whether it's the Mark V or the Power Pro. And Jacob Anderson, if you're looking how to repair a Mark V, and especially with this issue, you can go to that. He's got videos, a lot of really good videos. This guy really has, it's like a learning experience with him. If you're learning, want to learn about Shopsmith and different applications and processes to use them, that's Doug Reed. And then Scott with my growth rings, he's just a wealth of information, excuse me, relative to the Shopsmith. He likes the band saws and all these things. He'll show you accessories you may not even be aware that Shopsmith had. Now, Workshop Nerdery is just that. This guy is a technical wizard that will show you, he even uses mathematics, geometry, math processes I don't even know how to pronounce. And but he breaks it down where it's pretty simple to use to make, if you're sharpening plane, or basically, and he works about the Shopsmith. He likes that Mark VII. But anyway, the issue was with the idler assembly and the eccentric bushing. So I made this video because it came up that it is really an issue. And it's a problem that you may have if you have a Shopsmith. And it's a problem that you need to be aware of. So what I'm going to show you is where it's at and what it is. And for learning from these gentlemen, that's really the word, I did learn, because I really got... I overthought the thing and got where I thought it was really going to be a big issue. And it's not. It's a very simple fix. But it's something you need to be aware of and look at periodically to make sure that this shaft assembly, this idler shaft assembly, has not come loose and started propagating on into the body of the motor, the hot power head. So hope this helps you. Again, I want to thank those guys. They're great. So enough said. Hope you enjoy it. I hope it works out for you. I hope it gives you, if you find the problem and get the fix, that's going to save you a lot of problems later on. So thanks for watching. And here's the video. Okay, just a quickie. I want to talk about this Shopsmith Power Pro headstock. Shopsmith finally sent me a PDF on Tuesday, so I got to look up all the parts, and it basically gave me some troubleshooting ideas, but nothing related to what I was having a problem with. But I think if you were watching the video on the problems, you noticed that I was concerned about that area there. Right here, what you see, that piece of metal I'm touching beside the shiny thing, is the idler shaft assembly. And mine was sticking out probably 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch too far, and it caused a lot of concern. I had responses, I guess, from Jacob Anderson, Michael Young, Doug Reed, Scott with my growth rings, and John Rice, Woodshop Nerdery, and saying, hey, listen, that is really a bad issue. You really got to make sure you fix it. So they sent me a lot of notes. I'm old and getting really senile, I guess. Anyway, I was somewhat confused. I thought it was more complex than it was, and I really overthought it. So, as you can see, the pulley belt turns, and what I had before was it looked like that whole assembly was turning with it, which it was, and it's not supposed to. So it was loose. Now, Scott, with my growth rings, and Doug Reed both have a lot of safety videos and safety checks, basically periodic inspections of your machine, but I don't think any of them really covered this one. And yet they all responded that, hey, it is a problem. It's a problem on the Power Pro. It's a problem on the Mark V. It's basically a problem with the idler shaft assembly. So there's nothing wrong with the idler shaft assembly except sometimes it gets loose and it starts moving in, and you have to fix that. So let's take a good look real quick at what I'm talking about. Okay, what we're talking about is the eccentric bushing that holds the idler shaft assembly. And what it does, it basically, because it's eccentric, it can be rotated, and whether it's on the Mark V and only controlling the upper belt, which it only has an upper belt because the other one's on the spool, whatever you want to call it, inside with the knob where you crank it up for your speed, the speed feed control. But on the Power Pro, you have two belts coming off of it, obviously, which I think we've seen. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'll show you. I think you can see it. So as you can see, this side here is wider than this side, and as you turn this, it will change the tension on both belts. My idler assembly was way in, like I say, about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. To get that to come back out, what I did was I loosened the nut here. There's a Allen bolt over here that you have to hold. Loosen this clamp, basically is what it is. I'll zoom back in for just a second. You can see down here there's a nut right here. It's a 1/2 inch Allen wrench. Loosen this, and then what I did was I took a large flat screwdriver and very gently went in through here and got on the end of the idler shaft assembly itself, and all I had to do was gently push it back, and it brought it back out so it's flush with the eccentric bushing, and that's where it has to be. So then once you do that, you need to check the belt tension. So it's in place. To turn the idler, or to turn the eccentric bushing, you just loosen this screw. There's a slot in the eccentric bushing that you can put a flathead screwdriver in, and you can move it one way or the other. But what I found with the 2-belt system on the Power Pro was that when I released the tension on the eccentric bushing, it just kind of rotated all by itself, and the tension on both belts equaled out. They are basically the same. Now, of course, that won't work on the Mark V because you only have one belt. So what you want to do is push on it, and it should be fairly tense, but it shouldn't even go in 1/4 of an inch. It should be, but not over tight. Another thing, when you tighten this bolt down here, do not over tighten it. This is a forging, so be careful that you don't over tighten it and damage it. You do that, and you're in the market for a new base. So I got to thank Jacob Anderson, Michael Young, Doug Reed, Scott with My Growth Rings. Hey, he's my champion, basically. The Workshop Nerdery, John Rice. These guys all came around, let me know this is really kind of a serious situation. So if you're going in for your safety checks or maintenance, pay attention to this. Look at it every once in a while. And if it's not where it belongs, if it's gone inward, the assembly itself, not the eccentric bushing, but the assembly itself, all you got to do is loosen it up, push it back in place, retighten it, check the tension on your belts, and you're back in business. So again, I want to thank those guys. They are definitely, boy, they're in my corner. I really appreciate it. So that's it for today. Just a real short note, kind of a thank you for the guys that helped me out with this thing. I overthought it. I had a hard night thinking. I watched Jacob Anderson, but what he did was tore the whole unit down. For some reason that got in my head, and 2 glasses of wine and 5 hours of sleep, I cleared it up. So anyway, I'm back in business. I don't know if that corrected my vibration area. We'll find that out later. But I wanted to share this with you because it obviously is really important. If you don't keep that where it belongs, it can actually damage the entire assembly. It'd be a very expensive fix. It's a simple fix. Hope it helps you out like it helped me out. And thanks again to the guys. So thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, leave comments, and have a good day.